around a number of 15 crores, and that is clear net because all the cost is there.
Welcome to yet another episode of Pitch Perfect. Today I have with me very fresh brand, two partners and a story worth exploring. The founders, co-founders and the partners for West Avenue Realty, Vaibhav Kanabar and Saumitra Bhatkhalkalkar.
You choose a wrong partner, and trust me, it will eat up your entire bandwidth and take your entire reputation down to dust.
If you want to be successful, you have to work 18 hours a day. That's a very wrong statement. Maybe you have to work 24 hours a day also. Who is deciding this?
What are the kind of ROIs in terms of investment and rental yields that they can expect?
What today pricing we are putting, I think is already up by 20%.
Where does West Avenue Realty stand?
So a large part of our acquisitions have been distressed or stuck project. We've gone through the cycle of resolving issues which have been with the properties. Whether it is project was funded by a lender and there was a default. Otherwise, there were litigations which were there, or there were short of funds which were there. And on day one, the first penny goes into construction of the project.
There is one taboo attached to the whole distressed property thing. People believe कि यार यहाँ पे लेंगे तो is there some bad luck attached to it? Has that question ever come to you?
This is Pitch Perfect.
Welcome to yet another episode of Pitch Perfect. Today I have with me a very fresh brand, two partners and a story worth exploring, because these are two people who do not have any background from real estate, but here we are. So please help me welcome the founders, co-founders and the partners for West Avenue Realty, Vaibhav Kanabar and Saumitra Bhatkhalkalkar. Thank you for doing this. Starting with you, Vaibhav, do tell me कि आपकी journey कैसी रही है so far? Where did you start from? What was your entry point into real estate as a developer?
So prior to getting into development, I was into debt syndication.
Okay.
And my firm used to work for a lot of good brands based in Mumbai, raising money through a lot of institutions, which includes NBFC, banks and AIFs. So that was my introduction to the sector as a whole. Eventually, we got into soul selling mandates also. And we also created one brand called Loan Junction, which was for retail loans.
Okay.
So accidentally, it happened that I could get you a land through land consultancy. I can get you money to construct through debt syndication. I can sell what you construct through soul selling, and I can do loans for people who buy what you construct through Loan Junction. Okay. So that was the entire journey in terms of my introduction to real estate. Natural expansion from here was to only jump the guns and become a developer. But
understood.
The weakness was the technical knowledge. From construction, from planning, designing. Those were aspects which I was never exposed to.
Got it.
So eventually, I accidentally happened to meet him.
What was your entry point? How did you start? Where did this serendipitous meet happen? And why did you guys decide to come together and start?
So I myself am an architect by profession. When I was pursuing architecture, I think in third year or fourth year, I wanted to, because I got exposed to the real estate sector and that entire industry, I also wanted to become a developer. So that's where I started as a developer, but it was not very, very small start. Started with MMR region. And eventually after 3-4 years, I wanted to get into the Mumbai real estate because obviously that is more fascinating and everything is good about it. Apart from that, I was also pursuing I started my own architecture firm also with COVID. So I wanted to do both the things as a design architect and as a developer also. And then, as he rightly said, it was a very, very out of the blue situation. We met through a mutual connect for fundraising for one of my other projects in Pune. And that's how we started talking. And then there was one opportunity that also actually I overheard him talking to someone. Then I jumped into it. I was like, what if we do it together? And that's how we actually started that conversation. And I think that was the point where the best time was Bram.
So give me the details about the beginning of all the projects.
So 2.5 years into development, the most difficult job for any developers is to actually acquire a right property.
True.
Right. In this 2.5 years, collectively, we have acquired 9 projects, starting from Khar, Dadar, Chuhu, Mahalakshmi, Carter Road, Wadala, Panvel, Ghatkopar and Mulund. Okay. And if my estimations are right, the GDV of these all projects combined together should be upwards of 4,000 crores.
My next interesting question is, we've all seen Shark Tanks and we've all seen such pitches in our lives wherein we are all aware that whenever you go to, let's say, an investor, they will always look for an entrepreneur who has a partner, right? Whether it's a tech firm or non-tech firm also. And but with partners come also these territories wherein you have to chart very carefully. Okay? Two different set of people coming together. Your story exactly. Now it's interesting equation, right? You're a finance guy. You're always mindful of the cost. You're always very calculative, right? And you're an architect. You're a designer. So has it ever happened कि आपने कुछ design किया है and it has starting to hurt a little margins and you've had some sort of disagreements, or how does it work? How does the dynamic of these two people work is what I want to
I'll
understand.
put this in a little different way.
Please.
What has worked for our partnership is that we both have a different expertise in terms of real estate. Right. His domain is planning, designing, approval, wonderful understanding of DCPR, where my exposure is very macro.
Okay.
My understanding is finance, legal, stress, acquisitions, sales and marketing. Where now his exposure is getting with the curve that we are growing, correct? We both have opinions in our each other's domain. We discuss, but the decision making and the veto is very clear between both of us as per our expertise. This reduces friction. This also brings speed in execution. And I am a very strong believer. Partners who not just complement each other but complete each other. That partnership will last for a very long time. And एक और एक, that's we don't make it two. वो एक और एक दो, एक और एक 11
होता है. Interesting. So, okay, Saumitra, I want to understand your take on this. What he said is absolutely right. For two people to work together, you have to have complementary set of skills, right? What are that one or two strengths? Let's pick one for now. Ki one strength that you have, one weakness that you have that he complements, and vice versa.
So, actually, again, as he rightly said, we don't interfere in each other's, domain. So he, for example, now how you spoke about or asked about the costing and all that. So, because I'm also a developer, whenever we design anything, it's always with the consideration of that cost, right? So, and also when we started this, before actually starting with the first project itself, we're very clear that we don't want to make very standard mainstream buildings. Even if even if there are less profits because of giving a better lifestyle to people or better amenities or maybe better design, we are okay with that, both of us. And it was completely mutual. It was not one person putting this thought. It was actually mutual that we are okay to take less money at home, but I think we'll deliver the best.
Understood.
So I think, so I don't interfere in his domain, he doesn't interfere in my domain. So I don't think that, so this question would have, come when if he was also in the same background, or if he was also equal inputs in the designing or construction or approvals. It doesn't happen. So
naturally, by design, already you both are complementing.
Absolutely.
So that's the natural weakness that he had.
I
I was not from the finance background.
Right.
It was obviously my weakness. His weakness was the approvals console, like the entire designing part. That's how we have come together.
And this is not by design. This happened accidentally.
Accident, completely accident.
And if you look at it, that's why I said we don't just complement, we complete each other. If you take him out of my life, that space is a blind spot for me. And I hope that I add enough value that he can also see the same for me. But for me, that space is completely blind spot. In terms of construction, construction, your planning, your designing, the way he plans, it comes to me as a sales perspective. It does not come to me as a planning perspective.
Understood.
Once he designs something, he brings up for discussion from a sales perspective, whether this will be accepted by the market, whether the market requires something else. That feedback comes from us. But not about this wall, you can shift it here, or maybe the living room should be better because I feel like. That is what he brings to the table.
To get into the buildings or properties which are distressed, perhaps, or never got completed. So out of these three, where does West Avenue Realty stand?
So a large part of our acquisitions have been distressed or stock project.
Okay.
And we've gone through the cycle of resolving issues which have been with the properties, whether it is a project was funded by a lender and there was a default, otherwise there were litigations which were there, or there were short of funds which were there. So we'll actually use our expertise to resolve those issues, get into a JV or a JDA, depending on the structure of the transaction, and on day one, the first penny goes into construction of the project. We've largely, I can say, we've never paid for land. We've paid for completing the projects.
There is one taboo attached to the whole distressed property thing. I believe a lot of people believe कि यार यहाँ पे लेंगे तो is there some bad luck attached to it? Has that question ever come to you when?
Their experience that I've gone through of debt consulting has been raising funds where the funds were required, or it has been dealing in distressed assets, correct? So that has been a raw material for my thought process. So if I start believing that, I won't be able to transact any single property in Bombay. So we inside look that as an opportunity of lesser negotiations, because you're already distressed, you need solutions for those, right? And on immediately we can start the work, because the work has either started or the approvals are in place, right? So we don't spend 1 year for getting the approvals. That's a lot of time which a lot of people don't value. But today, as soon as we acquire, the very next day I can get my crane moving and starting the work and launch sales in 3 months.
Let's talk about this project, Atlantis Saumitra. Design point of view, say, what difference are we making with this project? Because it's in Khar, right? A lot of individual standalone buildings is the culture of this micro market, right? There are very little gated communities as such. Now, some few big brands are coming, but that more towards Kalanagar side, or towards that side. In this micro market, I would ask ki, what is it that this building or this project holds special?
So I will just give you the brief about the project. So before we stepped in, this was again a stress project. So before we came in, the plinth was already constructed by the existing developer. The approvals were in place, everything was in place. When we saw the plan actually, so the existing developer had proposed 1 BHK for sale, 1 BHK, 2 BHK, 3 BHK and 4 BHKs, all the inventories. So that was like a complete no-no for us, right? There are already existing tenants also which were rehabilitated in the same building. Then we actually went to the boardroom, drawing room, whatever you want to call it, and then with the same column locations, we actually converted the entire plan into 3 and 4 BHKs.
That was a good move, I would say.
Again, if you see the sizes of these 3 and 4 BHKs, you will not find these sizes in the entire car market. When we redesigned it, we are giving now almost 17 amenities, including home theater, mini
Very
theater,
nice.
then business center, lot of things.
Got it.
So that adds a lot of value to the entire product. It adds a lot of value. See, again, we as a developer, we are going to sell only 10, 15 flats, right? But eventually that family is going to stay there for at least 20, 30 years.
True.
So that adds a lot of value from the buyer perspective also. Generally in the car market, what we see is maybe 9.5 feet of the clear height, or maybe maximum 10.5 feet. Here what we are giving is 11 feet height to all our seal flats, which adds again, what happens is basically in the 11 feet, once you have your ceiling almost reduces like 6 inches or half a feet. So eventually that entire space becomes huge. All the rooms, including living room, kitchen, your bedrooms, you start feeling, you start experiencing that space in a
sense of space, bigger height. It gives you a more premium luxury kind of a feel.
And because we are also giving full height windows, all rooms will have full height windows. So that also again adds a lot of value. So entire space start looking very
Even
bigger
big.
than it actually is.
नाम मुझे समझना है कि why West Avenue?
So West Avenue, one part is that we largely operate in Bombay, and we are on the western side of the country. So that defines on where we are, right? And Avenue talks about is more a high street feel, where you come up, where little New York style or little more modern style designs. That was the idea about bringing West Avenue, which talks about where we are, and there's a modern touch to the development that we want to do.
Another one is, I think, the transparency. So we do not give any false commitments or anything like that to anyone, so right from the tenants or even the society committee anyone, and we are accessible to anyone. So we are very, very transparent about our commitments, timelines, and everything. So I think transparency also adds a lot of value to our brand, and I think it comes naturally.
I had a question, Saumitra, for you also. This is a little personal. I do understand that every developer has challenges in the industry, but you also have, like in your family, you have MLA, your father is an MLA. Has that been a benefit? Has it made things easy for this brand, or has it been the other way around? What has
Again, there are pros and cons to that. 100% yes, that background has helped a lot. Not from the acquisition perspective, but more from the approvals perspective. But there are again a lot of cons to it, which people usually don't see. For example, I just give you a recent example. So you are trying to raise some funds for the other project, construction finance, and so project is halfway through. It's a very, very ideal project for any bank or NBFC to raise funds, right? Because all approvals are in place. Project is, the construction is already almost 50% done. So only thing left now is the construction, pure construction. We're trying to raise that for I think almost 6 months now, and till now I think we eventually got it just recently. But I think almost 5 banks, including NBF2, NBFCs, rejected the loan saying political barrier.
okay?
So
that
in the
also
natural
happens.
world, politically exposed person is a part of policy. So it does not matter whether your track record as a person is good or bad. If you are politically exposed, it's a no-no for few of the institutions. So that's one of the cons of coming from that background. What are pros? A lot of noise gets cancelled. A lot of nuisance which can happen does not happen at other.
Interesting.
These are pros.
Right.
But I'm sure every businesses have pros and cons from their point of exposure. So this is also a way of business for us.
Understood.
See, again, then you're obviously directly into the spotlight. It's easy. It's way easier for people if tomorrow, let's assume that we don't deliver. Tomorrow we, fail at something. It will be extremely easy for people to actually, target us because of the same background.
Right. So somebody goes and makes a mistake. A normal person, there is still a chance of it getting in the shadow, but somebody in the visibility is always in the crosshair.
I would like to highlight one of the instance. We were in process of acquiring one of the project, and the acquisition process took a little longer than expected. The market got to know that we were getting involved. The project got a mention in Vidhan Sabha
Oh. Okay.
because it was start project, right? We were still in the process of acquiring. Just because we were acquiring it, the project got mentioned in Vidhan Sabha.
And not in a positive light, I'm assuming.
Obviously not. But thankfully, we acquired and we turned it around in terms of the tenants, rents. See, along with capitalism, real estate also comes with social responsibility.
True.
Most of the projects are stuck or stressed. Almost all the projects have involvement of tenants who given their consent for redevelopment, not for profit, but with a hope for better standard of living and social dignity. Now, when we take this project which are stuck, forget about the homes that they were promised. They were not even getting rents, not for months, even in few cases even years. So, yes, the project has to be viable when we take it over, but when we deliver all these things right and we put things back in shape, we give these people the control of their life back under one roof. The sense of satisfaction is beyond balance sheet. There is no doubt about it.
Right.
Correct. So when we start project, the limelight which it got prior to us coming in, we'll also have some baggage when we come in, right? So that transition period got that attraction in Vidhan Sabha.
And now
So I think
everything is.
I think there are a lot of more cons than the pros. So recently, again, I'll just give you an example. Recently, I got a call from a so-called social activist,
Okay.
and few people from that society went to that person, and they are now demanding like 3 times the rent, 3 times the purpose.
Okay.
Lot of unrealistic demands. Obviously, that I become a natural, easy target. So
So this is all because You had a political.
100%, yes.
This is okay. Interesting.
What else has to navigate is his father's reputation. It is one of the cleanest politicians that Maharashtra has seen.
Interesting.
So that helps us a lot in terms of somebody who's coming at our door to trouble also. He is troubling from really far. Because does not have a personal vendetta against in terms of attacking.
Got it.
So that helps us a lot, which is a cleaner image of his father.
Okay, I remember talking to Saumitra and he like, yeah, like you said, we were enjoying the process, right? Wanted to touch upon the fact or the subject of work-life balance. This somebody told me, very close to me, he told me that, this whole construct of a work-life balance, it has been created so that a middle-class person will always stay middle class. But somebody who knows the real truth, they understand there's nothing like a work-life balance. इसका एक counter मुझे किसी ने दिया था on one of our podcasts when he said कि यार if you're enjoying what you're doing, then it's all automatically balanced. I still feel, I want to ask you guys, कि is there a line that should be drawn when it comes to literally your work and your personal life? Do you believe in that or?
पहली बात तो है थोड़े myths work-life balance की clear करते हैं.
Yes, please.
18 hours of hard work. 18 hours of work is always confused with hard work and ambition. More numbers of hours is going to give you visibility. Visibility is not success. Success is efficiency. Efficiency is measured by output per hour, not hours per day.
Interesting.
Right? So first aspect is hours is a wrong scale to measure hard work and ambition. That's first one. Now come to the second part. Now because obviously I threw my thoughts, you would understand that I'm a pro work-life balance. I spend 7:30 most of the days I'm home. 2 hours I spend with my daughter. I go out on weekends with my friends. I take once in a quarter I take a family holiday. Does that mean I'm not available for a 9 p.m. meeting? Does that mean that I'm not available on weekends to work? So now we are confusing availability with hard work.
Interesting.
Right? That's the second part. Right? So success is measured through efficiency, not exhaustion. Right? Now come to the last part. Last part is stress. People often, again, club stress with work-life balance. We have work of this scale. Naturally, we are stressed. Now, is my body not going to be bothered about because tomorrow is Sunday about the same stress? That's not going to happen.
True.
So, please make it clear, stress is absolutely a part of life when you have strong ambition. But burnout is a choice.
Interesting.
Whether I want to create that atmosphere every weekday working till late, every weekend working for me, my family and my employees, the answer is no. When it is at most important, I am mentally and physically available to attend that particular meeting, but that's not my culture. Now, if you are able to draw these lines properly, then you can still be successful and still have work-life balance.
What is your thought on this, Saumitra?
So first, how I want to look at it is, what is work-life balance? Like I've heard a lot of people, right, from the chairman of L&T, Narayan Gurti, a lot of people. I don't completely agree with the statements, but see, eventually every person has to decide what is their balance, right? Now, I completely agree with what he said. Just because you want to be successful, or let me put it in this way, if you want to be successful, you have to work 18 hours a day. That's a very wrong statement. Maybe you have to work 24 hours a day also. Who's deciding this? That person should decide that. And I feel, at least from my perspective, our day starts, sometimes our day starts at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Sometimes, like today, I left my house at 11:50, right? I kept no meetings today because we are doing this. So again, this is my balance. This I enjoy this is why I can decide my timelines. And I think I feel what also matters is the family. Your partner, life partner, or your family, first family, I think should be equally matured, or they should have this understanding of how much you love your work, and vice versa. Even my partner, I know how much she loves her work. So I have to respect that. And again, sometimes she has a meeting at 9 o'clock in the night, right? That gets over by 10:30. But again, that every person has to decide that. And if you're enjoying your work, I think that is okay.
How does a developer mentality work? Do we have certain, of course we have sales numbers. Okay, at the end of the 5th year, this is the top line that we're looking at and this is the margin that we're looking at. Apart from that, as a brand, where do you want to get established? It could be anything under the sun. Some people could say, hey, I want to be the next Rahijas or Hirandani or Ustamji. It's fine. What is your benchmark? Where is the brand West Avenue headed to in the next 5 to 10 years?
So I look at this way. We've got an amazing start. Let me put it this way, and I accept that fact on this podcast. We've got a dream start. 2.5 year, 9 project, negligible debt, correct? And 1/3 of that, or maybe written around that, is already pre-committed in terms of sales. We had to decide where to stop, because now we need to deliver all these 9 projects. We can keep adding on, right? The brand doesn't become by taking the projects. The brand will establish when you deliver those projects.
True.
Right? So we actually have to sit down and figure out that this is the time to stop, take a pause for business development, and start delivering in terms of construction, approval, sales. Right? Once we are through that journey, we feel a balanced approach to give better quality product with commitment and balanced financial discipline, which has actually costed a lot of developers their journey of 50 years, right? We want to be watchful about that. We are very careful about the financial obligations that we take on our shoulder, and timely delivery and repayments of those loans is a very integral part of West Avenue. That's from a perspective of business. From a design perspective, he definitely have a lot of ideas which he can highlight.
So I think this again, these are very different things, but from perspective of purely brand, I don't think we have any benchmark as such. Like, you have to become this or you have to become that. I think we are just enjoying this process right now. We have not decided, we have not capped anything. That in next 5 years you want to do 10,000 crores of business or something like that. I think we are just enjoying this. I think it's right now. I don't think even we have digested the fact that we have acquired so many projects in 2 to 3 years.
We'll be happy if we are able to just become West Avenue reality the way we've imagined.
How have you imagined it?
Next 5 years will tell you.
Okay, I'll definitely look out for it, and we'll keep doing one podcast each year to review the progress of the brand. I'm more than happy to do that. Thank you so much, Vaibhav. Thank you so much, Saumitra. It was such an enlightening conversation that we had today. I genuinely got to learn a lot. This is the perk of my job, right? I get to meet so many different people, interview them, and you have these questions that otherwise don't get answered, but here is the platform, on the camera, off the camera, I do get the answers to this. So thank you so much for doing this, guys.
Thank you so much for having us on your podcast.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you. See.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is pitch perfect.